Hello everyone, Tom Meadmore here, the director of the Cancer Conflict. I'm standing here with Kelli Milne. Say hello, Kelli.
Hi.
I'm going to chat to her in just a second about something that's quite interesting, but before I do, I just wanted to remind everyone that the trailer is being launched on this coming Wednesday the 7th. So keep an eye out for it. I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you all. But before we do, I'm just going to be chatting with a few people over the next few days to talk about the essence of the cancer conflict and what the film's about, and the discussion around what modality of treatment to go with and the impact of that. And Kelli, you've got quite an interesting story in that both your parents were impacted by cancer. You've been right on the front line with it. Share some of your experience with what you went through.
Yeah, so about 2 years ago, my mum was diagnosed with lung cancer, and she had full treatment. And I
Full
remember
treatment is?
she had chemo, radiation, and she had the cancer removed surgically. Within 6 months of being diagnosed, was dead. And at the time, I remember thinking, if she hadn't have had that treatment, maybe the last 6 months of her life would have been, she would have had a better quality of life. And I remember thinking that at the time. But then not long after that, my mother-in-law was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and she went through a very similar process. So she had the surgery, she had chemo, and 2 years later she's now cancer-free. So I find it very interesting that at the end it's very easy to look back and say, well, this might have been better or that might have been better, but what treatment didn't work for my mum actually has kept my mother-in-law alive. You can only say that in hindsight. So we didn't know at the start of the treatment. Of course we wanted the treatment because we wanted the chance for mum to live. If we had known that she was going to die, of course we would have probably gone, well, let's live without the treatment, because it made her very sick. But my mother-in-law was very sick with the treatment as well, but it saved her life.
So so it's safe to say that you sort of stand in the middle where you go, well, in some cases traditional therapy is very useful and has helped your mother-in-law, whereas in other cases with your mum it was actually, in hindsight, not a good thing to have done. So it's sort of, you're kind of sitting in the middle of, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Yeah.
It's okay. So what would you do if you were diagnosed with cancer? What would you do? Would you look at doing the traditional method, or would you look at something alternative? What would it?
I'm always one for following the medical route.
Right. Okay.
So I believe in medicine. I believe in science. Very science, conscious. So I would definitely go the scientific route. However, there would always be that part of me in the back of my mind that said, if the chemo was making me too sick, I would think, what's going to be best for my quality of life.
Right. So you might open up to something as an alternative.
Yes, I think so. But it's all very well to say that in hindsight, isn't it?
Or to project into a potential future. You've seen the trailer. What did you think? Do you think it's a relevant and important discussion?
I think it's an incredibly relevant discussion, especially in these times of alternative therapy or pseudoscience. I think that cancer is such a huge thing that affects families that it's very, very easy for people to be manipulated by solutions or answers.
Right.
And so I think it's something that really needs to be addressed.
Thank you. Thanks, Kelli. And keep an eye out for the trailer because it's coming out on Wednesday. Speak to you soon.
Thanks, Tom.